Welcome back to day one of AWS Cloud Journey. In this series, we are going to learn about the foundations of AWS Cloud, the VPCs, S3, EC2 instances, Lambda, EKS, and so many services. So if you have a wonder about how networking loads into the AWS Cloud, so this video you need to watch it to the end to get about the VPCs and the part. Okay, so our first service will be going to about the VPCs part. So what is VPCs in AWS Cloud? So first of all, VPC generally stands for Virtual Private Cloud. What does a Virtual Private Cloud do for you? So think of like VPC is generally like owning a private housing society. Like you have your own private house, you have own your private buildings. So same thing, it's have a own having a housing provided but into the AWS cloud world. So just like in the real society, you generally decide like who come in, okay, where the buildings are, which areas are like you need private, either it's public, and how the moment like traffic generally happens inside it. So in the simple word, if I talk about VPCs give you the full control of your virtual network. So things like we have IP addresses, we have subnets, we have instances, we have routing, we have gateway, we have VPC peering. So all these things come under the VPCs part. Now, first of all, things to learn about into VPCs, that is the CIDR blocks. Okay, what are the CIDR blocks into the CIDR? Okay, let me CIDR. What is CIDR in the VPCs part? So it generally helps into the maintaining like choosing like a plot size. You generally go, first of all, you have taken the properties part. Now you decide the properties like it's 10 by 10, 20 by 20, 30 by 30, like 50 by 25. So same thing we have to decide into the VPCs part. So for example, you have to select how long you need your VPCs like CIDI blocks. Okay, so CIDI generally stands for we have sample values, that is 10.0.0.0./16, means it's generally going to consume about 65,000 public IP addresses. Not public, it generally contains the IP addresses to use. So you can't change the CIDR after creating the VPC. So we have to plan this based on our expectation size. Suppose you need 65,000 IPs, or if you need less, so we can just move to the less part also. Okay, first of all, the CIDR blocks complete. Second, that's come into the subnets part. Now, subnets are generally like the public and the private area. Suppose you have built a society, you need in this particular area, like suppose you have just created the shop. So that shop will be accessible by public persons, but you have your own house. So all that particular part, only the private people is going to like who owns a general society. Okay. Now you are inside the VPCs. Suppose this is our VPCs. This is our VPC. Okay, so now you have to create a subnets. Means you have to different zones or different buildings in your society. We have A block, we have B block, we have C blocks. All this particular part. Suppose we are going to create two blocks over here, and let's create one more block over here. So this is our VPC. And inside this, these two blocks are nothing but a subnets part. You can create many subnets you want. But in the subnets, we have generally categorized into the two parts. Okay. Subnets are generally divided into the two parts. First of all, that is the public subnet, and another is that is a private subnet. Okay, what is generally public subnet do? So when the traffics come, you want like where the traffics come from the internet is allowed, and like you are reception or front office. Suppose anyone can come, anyone can go. Like there's no restrictions on that particular part. So it's come to into the public. So by the time you already getting the things like it's publicly access to the each and everyone. But into the private world, what generally happened? It's isolated from the outside, like your bedroom or your secure world. Like no one can come into your house. No, like only secure persons are there. No one can enter your bedroom. So you are not allowing to anyone. It's into the private place. So like this, we have come into the subnets part. Okay, subnets are come to into the public and the private part. Now moving to the next part, that comes under is internet gateway and the net gateway. That's are the nothing but doors and the exits part. While creating your house example, so you just create the doors, you have create the entries, somewhere you create the exits also. Like suppose into the theaters part, so they creates one entry, they have an exits part. So let me write over here. Now we are going to see about the net gateways. Net gateways. And another is going to be the internet gateway. And internet gateway. Okay, what does generally this do for us? So as I just said, these are the doors and the exits part. But This other, to connect your public subnet to the internet, well, you have to attach the internet gateway. It's like main gate to your society, allowing people to come in, and you have to come in out. Suppose this is your society, okay? This is going to be a whole society, and you are creating an internet gateway over here. This will be like, from here the people will be coming and people will be going out. So this will be your internet gateway. uh, this will be our main gate society. And then, but your private subnet doesn't have directly internet access. You, as I showed, like I have to show something, I have to show some card, or I have to provide some my identity, so that after only I'm going to allow on this particular part. Okay, so if your EC2 instance in the private subnet and wants to download anything, like you want to download any packages, if you want to download anything, so it uses the NAT gateway. Okay, so NAT gateway is like NAT. Suppose this is your private subnet, and to connect to the internet world, we have to use the NAT gateways part. Okay, let me just quickly write. This is your private, and suppose this private subnet or private EC2 instance want to connect to the outside world, so we are going to use generally a NAT gateways. Okay, NAT generally uses over here for the to connect from the private world. Okay, so for the private world, we generally use NAT part, but for the public world, like for the everyone, like it's a internet gateway we generally use. So NAT gateway lets you go out, but not others come in. Like you can only go out, like ordering online food, but not giving your public IP addresses. Okay. Now we have learned about the NAT gateways, internet gateways. Then we have learned about the CIDRs. We have learned about the subnets and the public IP addresses. Okay. Now the main things come under this, that is the route tables. Okay, route tables are nothing but they are the what gatekeepers, like generally guide to the peoples where to go, where it's like generally Google Maps for you. Okay, the next terms and technology is nothing but the gate route tables. Let me quickly write route tables for you. Okay, so what I said, route tables. So it's generally like a Google Maps for the VPCs part. They generally they tell the traffic where to go. Suppose I live in this particular building. In this building we have suppose 2 blocks. Okay, this we have in this subnet we have 2 instances. Okay, now I've ordered some food, and this is my internet gateway, and this will be here with the routing table. So suppose this person comes from the Zomato and comes to me, and this will be telling like where to go. So this will be telling this person lives on floor number 602 or 501, anywhere. So they will tell traffic where to go, where to not go. Okay, so for example, public subnet routes traffic for the internet gateway, and the for the private subnet route for the net gateway. So I just mentioned, for the netting part it will route from the net, and for the public part it will route from the internet gateways part. Okay, so they are just the Google Maps for you. Now comes the security part. Okay, we have created the route tables. Okay, this are we have created the route tables, we have created net gateways, we have created subnets, and the public and the private part. Now that's things come to, that is the security groups. Okay, security groups are matters over here that we generally say SGs. Okay, let me quickly again write security groups, and we have NACLs. We generally say NACLs. So security groups are comes under securities part. So security groups are like guard at your door of each room. Suppose you have this room, we have 2 3 rooms. So each room are going to have a guard. Okay, they check who's to enter and leave, and when leave to the EC2 instances. But NACLs are something like they are the boundary walls for the each subnet. They work at the border level. They generally works at the particular border level. Suppose this is your border, so NACLs are here. But for the security groups, for subnet part, they work on this particular inside this particular part. Okay, I guess you are clear with this particular concepts. Okay, so securities groups are the stateful. They remember the connections, and NACLs are the stateless. These are the one of the important things you have to remember. Let me just quickly write for you. Security groups are the statefuls, stateful, that is our security groups. But if we talk about the NACLs, that are nothing but our stateless. Okay, I guess stateless. Okay, we have talked about the securities part. Everything has been now defined for us. Now let's quickly go to the demo part, and it will be easy for you to understand the part. Okay, if I quickly show in this diagram part, so see here we have our instances. This is our subnet number one. Suppose this is a, and we have defined the IPs also. If you see, here are the IPs. So these are the nothing but the CIDRs part. We have instances inside the subnets part, and above subnet we have VPCs. We have different VPCs, and this, if they want to connect to the outside world, they are going to use about the NAT gateways if they are into the private world, and if they are into the public world, they are going to use about the internet gateway. Now let's quickly jump to the console. This is how our console generally looks like of a AWS cloud. Okay, now once our console look like this, now how to launch a EC2 VPC instances. Okay, how to create a VPC. So if you're not aware about AWS, how to create a AWS account, do let me know in the comment section. I will going to create a whole video on this particular how to create your AWS account. Now you have to quickly go to the search bar, and you have to just write VPCs over here. So the VPC will pop up, and you have to come to the VPCs part. Now this VPC is launching. Okay, so VPC has been comes up. Now we have to create one VPCs. Before moving to the EPCs, let's quickly check. Already the one VPC has been created. This is the by default VPCs which is given by the AWS cloud. Now let's quickly create one VPCs, and in this VPC, what all the things we have just discussed, I will show you quickly here. Okay, so first of all, that was the IP4 CIDR block. How long you want your IP addresses, as we have discussed here. Like first of all things, CIDR blocks, which we discuss how long you want your IP addresses. Okay, so same thing here. You can see 65,564 something this IP runs. If you want the less IP, we can change the IP addresses, or what kind of IP addresses you generally want. Suppose you want more IP, you want less IP addresses, you want can go like certain, right, like this 24, 25. You want only 64 IP addresses, you can check. You want 64. If you want to go more or less, if you want only 16 IP addresses, this is the range, which is the colex. And if you generally go to the suppose 16, let's go to the 12. Okay, so they are giving 1048k IP addresses. Okay, so these are the IP addresses we this generally, while creations, we have to define how many IP addresses we are going to define. So now let's quickly take only 24. We don't need, so I'm just requiring for the 256 IP addresses only, while we have to giving. Okay, now move forward. The Amazon also provides a IP6 CIDR, but no, I am not going with IP6. I'm just going with the IPv4 CIDR. Now tendencies are the default. We don't any kind of tendency. We don't require any tendency. Now the next things come to the availability zones. So availability zones are nothing but like how many in zones, availability zones you generally want to create your EC2 instances. So for us, we want only the one only. We don't need any like instances. We two, there will be three. So let's quickly create availability zone. Like in this also, your VPC will be created, and in this region also your VPCs will be created. So we want our VPCs should be accessible in this particular two regions. Now moving to next, how many public subnets you want? We want two or zero. Like I want two public subnets. And if you want how many private subnets you want two, you want four. So I just want only two private subnets you want. Now NAT gateways, as I talk about the NAT gateways also here, you can check here. We have done with the CIDR parts. We are going to talk about the NAT gateways part. We have talked about the subnets part over here. Okay, now subnets have been done. Now let's quickly, do you want NAT gateways? NAT gateways are generally like you want your private subnets, your private EC2 instance to connect to the outside world. Okay, no, don't want. Now let's quickly, none, we don't want. Endpoint S3 gateway, we are going to learn about this into the upcoming lecture. Nothing, you have to just create the VPCs. And if you check with the preview the code, uh, don't let preview the code. This is our flow which generally they have created. Okay, so what the general flow is? This is your VPCs. You have subnets. You have two. This is your public. This is one private. This is means like two public subnets will be there, and two private subnets will be there, and the routing tables going to route your project like something like the gatekeeper walls, and you have private. You have public two privates, and this is your internet connections, mean internet gateways. So this way you have the things been working for us, and you just simply comes up and you have to just create the VPCs part, and your VPC is getting created. So like this way, you can explore the VPC. Like this, VPC is going to work for you. So that was the day one where we build about the VPC setup with the public and the private subnets part and the gateway, internet accessing and the routings part. Still, you are confused about any step, watch the demo part again and try it in the free trials part because on the AWS account. And tomorrow into day 2, we will deep dive about the EC2 instances, how to secure them and let them connect to our VPCs. So don't forget to like, share and drop a comment if you found this helpful. Let's build this cloud together at one at a time. And this has been created for us. You can check with the VPCs part. Our VPCs has been created, available, and you can from next video class we are going to use this VPC to launch our EC2 instances and to create all those things for us. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Do like, share and subscribe. Let me know if you face any issue. Comment down, and thanks for watching.